The final weekend of the 2024 Monster Masters Championship Series is one of tired muscles, bruised egos, and high attrition. But with very little wiggle room for those who have fallen behind in points, this one is looking to be all about the greatest fans in motorsports. Welcome to the Tennessee-Georgia line. We're at Boyd Speedway for finals weekend and now simultaneously homecoming weekend for the All-Star Monster Truck Tour. It's the final stop of the 2024 Monster Masters Championship Series, and here's a look at the points. Rolling into this week's action, you can see Terminal Velocity with a commanding lead on the rest of the field. Pretty much untouchable, save for an outside shot by his father there in Uproar. See, Crazy Train has moved to third over the season. Plain Crazy, Colossus, and Little Miss Dangerous rounding out the six-truck field. And we're going to start off with Athena Kozel in our best trick competition with Little Miss Dangerous. We're going to get right into the action. You can see it's a little bit muddy out here. Mother Nature decided to play havoc with us again. Fortunately, though, Stacy Jensen was able to clean the track, and a nice start there for that multicolored Chevy out of the state of Michigan. Of course, Athena Kozel out of Mount Pleasant, Texas, carrying on the name for the Perrin family, Jocelyn Perrin and Jeff Perrin, making this name famous throughout the 90s. And it's great to see it back, especially with a Michigan-based team like the Sinistar Motorsports team. And again, in a nice job. I think she wanted a second slap wheelie, but landed just a little bit too flat. The old Brian Bartle built machine still looking good here in competition. And you can see got a good hit there. A little bit off to the side. Had to get on the brakes, not the way she wanted to, but better get off of it there than bother or risk, rolling the truck over, hitting that jammer. But she scores a 5 to open up best trick competition here. Up next, Montana Robbins out of Lawtons, New York, Plain Crazy. The Eddie Micah built machine looking good here again with that Ethan Saunders Dungeon Designs C10 livery on there, and Trey Myers doing the fiberglass work. Ethan putting together that awesome new scheme for this year, and you can see the two-wheel skills alive and well with this second-generation team. First, we'll see his brother in a moment. If you haven't been following the action over years, these Robbins brothers are slated for big things in 2025. They will be moving on to the Monster Jam Series after a very successful run over the last couple of years here with the All-Star Tour, but I guarantee you we will see them back during the summer months with All-Star as the future goes on. And a nice shot right there. Gets a slap wheelie. That was off the same obstacle that Kozel got her slap wheelie off of. I do believe, though, that Montana Robbins will be taking over the lead in Plain Crazy. The two-wheel moves definitely will win over the fans, and very, very patient driver there. Didn't overreact to it. There's a score of 8. Blasting into the lead, Montana Robbins, convincingly jumping into the number 1 spot. Up next, out of Middleville, Michigan, Elliott with 2 T's Miller in Colossus. Awesome machine. This is a truck that has had plenty of testing time on it after they got it from the team that had it before them. It's an old KCM build, and definitely capable of getting the job done. That right there is what Miller loves to do, those slap wheelies. Both of his trucks will stand up on the rear tires with the best of them, and he takes an awesome shot to start off his best trick run. Made a few modifications to this machine in the winter months, or excuse me, the late winter months of 2023 to come out for this 2024 season. They used to run dual sway bars in the front, now running the single sway bar, and the truck seems to like this setup a lot better. Miller now looking for his next hit, and it looks like he's going to go for the two-wheel action. Very smooth, very capable driver right here. And look at that, scraping the front of the frame over that K-rail that's buried in that obstacle there. An awesome pair of moves for the big blue Chevy out of Middleville, Michigan. Colossus. Carrying on here on the Tennessee-Georgia line. Miller with a 10, a perfect 10 for the man from Michigan. You wish he had that victory earlier in the year. Believe me, when he comes back for the 2025 season, keep your eye on him. It's going to be a totally different year in 2025 for these guys. And we will be guaranteed a new champion, I can tell you that right now, as John Zimmer Sr. rolls out an uproar second in points. Carrying the slap wheelie out, doing what he knows how to do. You can see right now just a little bit worried about running into some of the standalone obstacles out there that are not part of the course. There's a few power poles and a few little kind of power unit boxes out there, and then a couple of freestyle obstacles that you don't want to get into with the front wheels off the ground like that. Let's see what John Zimmer has for his next best trick move, the North Star Ranch Contract Carriers Inc. Uproar out of Michigan. Not quite getting what he wanted out of that second move, but definitely showing the skills with the slap wheelie, and unfortunately that is going to cost him at the end of the day, but he's going to be happy after all, finishing in the top two, right behind his son right now, who I believe, if he wins this competition, may seal himself in as the overall champ for 2024. We'll find out by the end of, by the end of the day, certainly, but maybe by the end of this best trick session right now, as Triton Robbins rolls out in Crazy Train, the 2023 Monster Mashers champ, and one of the wildest conclusions to a freestyle we've ever seen, when he lost two tires diagonally, one front, one rear, on opposite sides of the truck last year in Naples, Florida. Looks like he kind of gave up a move right there, unfortunately, on his first hit. He's going to try to make up for it right here. And again, it's a little bit slick out here. You can see it's not super muddy, super sloppy like it has been in the past. The rain stopped early today, but still dealing with traction issues. Getting after it right there. And they shut him down. He just did some damage out there, not so much to the truck, but you see right there, he ran over one of the staging lights, one of the very expensive new staging lights that caused some controversy at the first event of this season. And you know who's got to be happier than anybody that he just took that thing out is John Zimmer Sr., because those staging lights cost John Zimmer Sr. a possible victory earlier this season, and the guy he was racing when that happened was none other than Triton Robbins. Robbins, though, with a 5 in Crazy Train as the track crew does a little brief maintenance. John Zimmer Jr. now out of Howell, Michigan, another North Star Ranch Contract Carriers machine. Terminal Velocity, the concussion chassis. 41 Willis bodied monster. And you talk about a guy with a ton of skills. He came in and immediately challenged the defending championship family, the Robbins. He and his father now out here really serving notice that they were here to take the championship early in the year. And he's doing what he needs to do right now. An excellent showing here in this best trick competition, and wisely sets it down off the ramp. Didn't rake the front end of the truck across the concrete there. Gets set up for hit number 2 in Terminal Velocity. We'll see what he picks on next. Going over the far side of the track. And there's plenty to pick on out here. It's at a glance, this track might look a bit cluttered, but this is a track that will serve big air. It will serve two-wheel moves. It'll serve standard slap wheelies, speed passes, whatever you want to do. This is a pretty versatile track out here The only thing that's going to be a hindrance, as I said, is some of the slop that he's now backed into over there. You see all of the topsoil that got pushed off of this track right behind him there. What's he got? Going for a bicycle, and it didn't happen. Slinging some of the slop off the top, got down into the dust. And I can tell you right now who took the best trick victory for sure, because he was the only one to put up a 10. Elliot Miller, he is now headed over to talk to Chuck Plumley as Velocity puts up a 7.
Sometimes it's about surviving. Sometimes it's about just putting on one hell of a show. Dude, you're in your best friend's backyard, Brian Wagner's backyard. And last year you already put the monster truck upside down, the Cinestar monster truck. You come back with a brand new Colossus monster truck, and right off the bat, 2 perfect tricks, victory lane. These All-Star fans are getting hyped for Colossus.
Yeah, absolutely. We appreciate all you guys coming out and supporting this company. All-Star Motorsports is local right here, and it's awesome to see this place full. You're going to get one heck of a show, so make some noise.
Miller picking up an impressive victory here in the best trick competition, and now remains to be seen, can Zimmer Sr. make a move on Zimmer Jr. now that the competition is still open? Stay with us. More to come from Chattanooga.
This presentation is brought to you by Monsters Monthly, your place for photos, videos, event info, and all the happenings in the monster truck industry. Visit monstersmonthly.com. And by Crush This. For a weekly look inside the wide world of monster trucks, check out Crush This, Monster Truck Podcast. Available on Facebook, Spotify, and YouTube. This program is brought to you by RPM Army. For a wide array of content from across the motorsports world, visit rpmarmy.com. Your high-performance fix on the go.
Back in technically Ringgold, Georgia, technically Chattanooga, Tennessee, depending on where you're standing on the property. We're at Boyd Speedway on the Tennessee-Georgia line with an excellent crowd here on a bit of a chilly day. Mother Nature throwing us curveballs all season long, but the sun has come out. We're going to show you qualifying round highlights, and there were some surprises coming out of this qualifying round. Of course, John Zimmer Sr., no surprise, served notice that he was here to compete in the racing competition with the best of them, laid down a shot on this St. Louis-style track. Playing it a bit conservative on certain sections, but runs a 19:01 in qualifying, and that was after some of the trucks earlier in the qualifying session. Little Miss Dangerous running a 38:41 with some problems. Colossus ran a 29:22. Now playing crazy. The other big blue machine in the field coming after Zimmer Sr., Montana Robbins. He's been a great racer over the last few years. We've seen him get some big wins around the country, and right here showing that he's going to be right on Zimmer's heels, a 1948 second truck into the 19s. And right behind him would be his brother Triton Robbins. Crazy train, very similar build, not an identically set up truck, but very, very similar setup to what his brother has. Very similar horsepower setup with the in-house power plants that they still do work with Mike Janis and Jansen, who has been building their horsepower forever, but the power plant's now being built in-house by this guy right here, and he showed that he is ready to go after Zimmer Sr. as well. 1936 would put him into second place, right behind Zimmer Sr., right in front of his brother Montana, and this is how the bracket will shake down in our first round of competition. It'll be Uproar taking on Little Miss Dangerous, Plain Crazy against Terminal Velocity. That's going to be one to watch as Montana Robbins tries to gain back some of the lost family honor there, and Crazy Train will take on Colossus. Here in round one of All-Star Monster Truck Tour Monster Mashers Championship Series racing action. Staging at the line now, Ford versus Chevy in body only. The Richard Midget Power Plant in the back of Uproar, the big block Sean horsepower, and the Michigan Chevrolet, driven by the lady out of Texas, John Zimmer Sr. in Uproar against Athena Cozell and Little Miss Dangerous. First race of the first round. Traction advantage definitely has to go to Zimmer. Cozell, though, getting aggressive, maybe over jumping. She got real deep in that corner, and it's going to hand the win to Zimmer most likely if he makes a clean run. And he will definitely be walking into the next round. Unfortunately for her, she has been having a little bit of an issue, I believe, with the locker in the rear end. As you saw that in the best trick competition, the truck, when she got on the throttle, kind of turned on her. Not positive there's a problem right now, but they've been fighting some mechanical woes with that truck all season long. Right now, though, not looking too bad, but it does look like she may have overjumped. Right here, kind of went, as I said, deep in that turn, got over there by that freestyle obstacle, wanted to get out of the throttle and get it back under control. Zimmer working his way around this track. Again, it looks a little more conservative than usual, but he did pick up the pace there in that round one matchup. Now, New York versus Michigan by way of Arlington, Vermont. That's where the Zimmers are from. Plain Crazy, Montana Robbins, runner-up last year to his brother against the 2021 Rookie of the Year, John Zimmer Jr. And Zimmer Jr. with a problem in the same spot on the track that Cozell got in trouble. And again, if it's a clean run, Montana Robbins will walk over into the next round. He will indeed. And Zimmer is just heading off the track. Some kind of issue with that truck. It seems he is going to head back up into the hot pits and try to get this one figured out. I'm not sure exactly what went wrong there. It looks like he may have lost rear steering the way things are going. And now there's a problem over here in Colossus. You see them scrambling to try to get this truck running. And it's not going to happen. We're going to release the train. Crazy Train will get a bye into the semifinal round. Colossus could not fire. So Crazy Train gets the free pass, and I do believe he's going to get a date with Little Miss Dangerous in the semifinal round. So Crazy Train heading on back to the pits. So mechanical woes wreaking havoc on what should have been an easy afternoon for John Zimmer Jr. Never count anybody out, even at this point in the year. It can always get wild all the way up to the end. Stay with us. We're going to figure out what's going on and be back with more racing action here on the Tennessee-Georgia state line.
Hey, welcome to Wild Man Adventures. We're at the Silver Lake Sand Dragway. There really wasn't any off-roading back then. It was all off-road. We're on our way to Lima, Ohio. Got wooden wheels.
Oh, it's slippery as all get out.
Hey, we're here with Rich Cummins. Hey, we're here with Mike Potter. Hey, we're here with Alan Pizzo. Gotta check it out. This week we're going to go down memory lane.
We are back on the Tennessee-Georgia line here at Boyd Speedway for finals and homecoming weekend of the All-Star Monster Truck Tour. So quite fitting the title machine of the tour. Now part of the Send It Motorsports camp. They brought 3 big bad machines out here. The Eddie Micah designed chassis underneath the All-Star All-American. And I do believe that's John Zimmer Jr. at the wheel. I'm not positive. We have seen Josh Eckel Farm, they call him the crew chief of Sinistar Motorsports, at the wheel of this machine throughout the season. It's run in the point series, but a little bonus freestyle here for the fans. Just giving the other machines a chance to cool down as they run the chassis that I'm sure some of you are very familiar with. That is Joe Sylvester's old bad habit that he sold off to the Send It Motorsports camp, along with a very beautiful travel trailer. As we look into the pits right now and get back to the action, the semi-final round bracket is as follows. Uproar will take on Plain Crazy. Then it'll be Crazy Train, as I said, taking on Little Miss Dangerous. So Michigan and New York both represented on the top and bottom side of this bracket here for the 2024 Monster Mashers Championship Series Finals weekend. Semi-final round action about to get underway. Chevy and Ford on the line. Big advantage for Zimmer already, and Montana Rollins collects that Uke tire, although he's trying to make up the distance. Does a nice job trying to come back there. Take nothing away from him. He had that struggle, but he did not let Zimmer walk into the next round. He didn't give up when it looked like it was all over. The Chevy started to come back. You can see right there, pre-steering into that corner so he didn't get deep. Turns in too quick, collects the tire. Nice little save right there. Get the fans on their feet. And look, he didn't get that far behind. And again, this might be the tougher lane on this side. It's a little bit tighter when you get down to this turn. You got to turn quick, or you'll end up in the back of those freestyle obstacles now, as Athena Cozell found out in round 1. She now comes to the line to take on Triton Robbins, the 2023 Monster Masters Championship Series champion in Crazy Train. Not doing too bad. She had a little trouble getting away in that turn, but you saw her pre-steer going in there and didn't overshoot the jump at all. Getting that seat time in, making her more confident behind the wheel, but the win will go to the 2023 champ, the defending champ, Crazy Train. So now he will rematch a matchup we saw in early round action. First race of the season. One of his big rivals on the season, the Ford-bodied Uproar of John Zimmer Sr., the North Star Ranch Contract Carriers, Send It Motorsports, Patrick Chassis machine with the Richard Midget horsepower, and the Eddie Micah design Crazy Train with the Triton Robbins built power plant in the belly. Two very competent drivers from two different generations of this motorsport, but take nothing away from either of them. They're both capable of getting a win any day of the week. You can see how Uproar got here. Knocked off Little Miss Dangerous, then knocked off Plain Crazy. Now with Crazy Train, got the bye run when Colossus couldn't make it to the line. Then matched up with Little Miss Dangerous, who Uproar defeated in round 1, and now faces off with his nemesis, John Zimmer Sr. in Uproar. And interesting, I mentioned the multi-generation here. Zimmer has made reference multiple times to having seen the boys, the Robbins brothers, come up in this sport, and he could not be happier to see the competent drivers that they have become to compete alongside his second-generation driver, his son, John Zimmer Jr. A good start for both trucks into the first turn. problems for Crazy Train. Uproar, the clear-cut winner here. Crazy Train again on this side. I think there's still some slop down here in this turn, and it caught up with Triton Robbins. Ends up oversteered in the corner.
It was a dope race too. They drag race all the way to that first turn, but once again, the first turn strikes them every time. The experienced icon, the future Hall of Famer, took all the kids to work, put on a clinic, goes to victory lane. Uproar, your monster truck racing winner.
Little update there from Chuck Plumley. C Plum's always glad to see him out here. Calling the action, the voice of the All-Star Monster Truck Tour. One of the best in the West. Man out of Northern California. Calling here some of the legends of motorsports, some of the soon-to-be legends of motorsports.
Dude, I'm just messing with you. Dude, you took the kids to work. Every race was done in the first turn. You just played it safe, nice and smooth, consistent, and solid. Everyone else spun out.
Sometimes to be old and wise, it goes a long way. But yeah, it's kind of a fight of attrition back there. Everyone's kind of having these little issues with trucks, Johnny and Triton, and they're making it back and making passes. But old Uproar just did his thing, man.
Dude, we still have monster truck freestyle still to go. And again, I was talking with Ellie. There's jump spacing, crooked ways, there's combo. I don't even want to imagine what you guys are already drawing up on the whiteboard. But freestyle, there's no time limit, no rules, and as long as the fans get crazy with the checker flag, when you get crazy.
Yeah, there's no doubt. One thing's for certain about championship weekend is, yeah, Johnny got the championship. We're fighting for second, third, fourth. But in reality, man, it's all about the fans and us just letting it hang out and appreciating the fact you spend your hard-earned money to come have fun with us. So I promise, freestyle's going to be a good one.
Well, Zimmer said early on this is his last identity, but it's certainly not his last year in this sport. And we're about to see him kick off Finals Weekend Freestyle along with the others. Stay with us. More to come from the state line.
There's only one place in the world you can find this much old school cool. Freedom Racing Monster Trucks. The home of Cyclops and Unmade and Untamed. Get yourself a limited edition toy at freedomracingmt.com.
Back with you from Finals Weekend, the All-Star Monster Truck Tour Monster Masters Championship Series, the 2024 Championship Series wrapping up this weekend. And right now, just a thin margin at the top separating the Zimmer family. The only person who can unseat Johnny Zimmer at the top is his father as Athena Cozell starts off strong, but you saw the pup out of the back down there by the housing. I think she just blew the rear steering out. And that's going to be it for a one-hit wonder in freestyle. She's getting more and more comfortable with that truck, but watch, she hammers the throttle just a little off-center, and it shocked the steering system, and it looked like she just blew a seal out of there, but one hit's going to start things off with a 4, not even close to what she's capable of, and she's going to be very disappointed. But I've said it before, keep an eye on her. As this year goes on, we're going to see her again on some bigger tracks, and she's going to have something to show these fellas. Now as Montana Robbins rolls out, this is a guy we've seen get some very impressive freestyle victories on this tour, and he had a great one in Lake Erie, Pennsylvania for the All-Star Series last year. We will see these guys back there again this year. He's starting off, though, with the two-wheel move to get him warmed up. See what he does when he cuts this big C10 loose. Getting warmed up on this track, and then I can guarantee you, as this weekend goes on, especially when we get into tomorrow's, and if the weather holds out, you're going to see some different things. These guys are going to play with this track today, find out what they really like on it. They're still going to give this crowd an awesome show, not let them down. But tomorrow, once they're comfortable on this track, again, if the mud stays away, if the rain stays away, you're going to see some of the wildest freestyles so far of the season, and a lot of space out here. And you're going to notice they've also done away with the concrete that borders the bull ring here at Boyd Speedway. In fact, this may be, it probably is the last time the Monsters will gather here on the state line. This speedway is technically now defunct, even though there's a brand new stairway leading down to the track. But they're only running their last few events of a racing season here in 2024, and then it's so long to Boyd Speedway. But it's been a great facility for the All-Star Homecoming weekend that is now part of the championship weekend, the finals weekend here for this series. And Montana Robbins getting to be a part of that 2 years in a row. He's been here a couple times before that, always has something for the crowd. And again, the two-wheel moves that he and his brother have kind of become known for, they do it the best. I'm going to wrap up a solid run here in the Big Blue C10. Not the absolute best we're going to see out of this guy, just feeling it out. This pair has had a few mechanical problems here today, just trying to get through it right now, but he didn't disappoint. You can see he didn't shy away from the big stuff, dragging the wheelie bar down the jammer right there. And again, as I said, as they get the feel of this track, and once it dries out, and it's already starting to, but once it's about perfect, you're going to see some real massive air from those guys. Now, one guy who is not going to wait to warm up, I can tell you that, is Elliott Miller. See what he does. He's got his own mindset when it comes to putting on a show right there. Those patented Colossus slap wheelies, I guess we call them Colossus slap wheelies. They were Sinistar slap wheelies last year. And put Athena in that truck, new identity on that one, but a new identity on this one. Now this is his machine. I'm not sure if he's trying to roll this truck over or not. He said he wasn't going to do that today, but he's definitely put on a show for the crowd here at Boyd Speedway. Just destroyed that van. That thing was supposed to last the whole weekend. It's gone. Smashed it paper flat. Miller hammering the track already, and I gotta say that the little brake checks going uphill, trying to get wheelies off the top of the bus. He mentioned wanting to do that earlier, but and Miller is just a different kind of person. Look at this! He's not done! He was headed back to the pits, pulled one extra move out of it, scores a 27, and you got a tip of the hat there for the unscored bonus slap wheelie. There's that fan that he crushed. Good old-fashioned car crushing, followed by some serious elevation and working the track to perfection. Well-deserved takeover, and he knew who was coming up behind him, John Zimmer Sr. out of Howell, Michigan, by way of Arlington, Vermont. Part of this new multi-generation team, and he and Johnny have been out here for quite some time now, thrilling the crowds, but with their own equipment currently underneath of them. They know these trucks. They were part of getting these trucks set up. They took the entire last summer to get these things tested, to get them tuned, to find out what would work best on them, to get them where they wanted them. And it's showing because they look very comfortable, very confident behind the wheel of Uproar, behind the wheel of Terminal Velocity. This one, the Patrick chassis, underneath of Zimmer Sr., again with the Richard Midget horsepower, electronic fuel injection in the back. See what Zimmer can do with it here. Nice hang time. He's got a tall order to try to get in front of the 27 that Miller just laid down. That was a heck of a getting in that slop over there, and again, there is a sloppy spot on this near lane. It was killing them in racing, but it's giving them some interesting rides here in freestyle. They're working this track to their advantage right now, and again, I said they weren't gonna go too wild today. I was wrong. These guys are cutting loose immediately. Zimmer getting into the cyclone territory. Truck smoking real bad right now. A wild ride off the back of the bus. I'm not sure what's coming apart on that thing, and maybe something as simple as a seal going away. Could have been just oil dipstick coming out, something. But he has got fluid going all over that engine is what's causing the smoke. You see right there, it didn't look like anything was on fire, but something is definitely leaking out of that power plant right now. Hopefully nothing serious. They'll get it back into the pits, take a look at it, and have it ready for tomorrow. But he had an awesome run going after a 27. He knew he was going to have to get after it quick. You can see, though, kind of putting a hurting on the body mounts there when he came down on the front wheels. And then here, this was a much wilder landing. It looked like it was going to be tripped the back end. Almost crushed that drone that's floating around out there. 26, 1 point off of Elliott Miller as the defending champ comes to the stage right now. A guy who took some freestyle victories on this series before. He has been one of the toughest to beat, and he is starting off wild. He may not be taking the championship this year, but he has no intention of letting the Zimmers win the last one. Working the backside of the track again. You hear out of those zoomies, those awesome zoomies, that massive horsepower that Robbins built. They were trying to get those motors right early in the season. They had engine issues. They locked one up in Brooksville, Florida. They had engines going away on them all year long. And And in spite of their losses, they have maintained thrilling these crowds week after week, and they're going to get a shot at some big stages, as I mentioned, in 2025 certainly, but going on into this summer, they're going to get their first shot at the Monster Jam stage, and I know for sure it's going to be a whole different program when they get their first taste of that, because these guys are well capable of running at the top of that fleet, and they're going to be right in there, as well as the Zimmers. That's going to be awesome competition when we get a chance to see these guys run together out there. As Robbins working the section of track where he took out the staging lights. The good thing he hit just those staging lights, not that telephone pole down center track, but considering the speedway is not going to be here much longer, they may not care. He's trying to get the front end, kind of get a slap wheelie out of it, and it just isn't giving it to him right here, and it's not totally the way he's hitting the ramps. There again, there's just some slop over there. He keeps getting into it, picking it up, and it seems like every time he comes down some of these ramps, the rear wheels are grabbing, and he just can't get that nice slap out of the front end. And I know this truck is capable of some absolutely incredible slap wheelies. Wild sideways hit right there. Triton Robbins in Crazy Train, putting on a classic run right here in front of the crowd on the Tennessee-Georgia line. Beautiful afternoon and blessed with some sunshine here under blue skies, watching the All-Stars take on one of the biggest tracks of the season. There's what we were talking about, putting the wheelie bar in the dirt. Up a solid run. We will see what the score is at the end of it all. That right there was an awesome start. Almost one-wheeled that thing. Actually did for a moment. All the weight was over on that right front tire. He just let it sit there. Just let it simmer. Let it marinate. Didn't get on the throttle real quick. Didn't force it back down. He let it do its thing. And the truck rewarded him again. This new generation of monster truck capable of things that would have been just absolute chassis killers back in the even the early 2000s, even as recently as maybe 6-7 years ago. There's trucks that would not take those hits. That right there, though, is what I was waiting for him to do. Let's see, 25. I have a feeling not going to agree too much with that score, but it's not over yet. John Zimmer Jr. gets the truck back out on the track. He's been back there in the pits trying to get the gremlins worked out of it. Let's see what terminal velocity he has. He's going to try to win this freestyle. If he can cap off this freestyle with a victory, that will be the championship for John Zimmer Jr. He's not wasting any time getting after it. He's already side-slapped it. And the truck is just soaking up whatever he's throwing at it. The bed side's already starting to come off. He knows he's got to be different. He was not back there watching these guys, by the way. He's been sitting in his truck off the track. He couldn't see what anybody else was doing. He just knows late in the field, he better do something different. second time this year he has showered down the camera crew with mud. Going, it didn't happen. And look, he just takes on the bus stack from the side, unloads it up on the side. He gets the bicycle down where he thought, drives it back down off the side of the race lane. John Zimmer Jr. putting on a clinic. Had a couple hits that didn't go his way. The Robbins family even applauding how he wrapped that one up, doing what he had to do. Was it enough for the victory? We will find out in a moment. Had some great momentum, had plenty of hang time. It was wild. But was it enough to take over the number one spot? Remember who he's going after right now. Elliott Miller's sitting on top with a 27. His father in second place with a 26. Triton Robbins in third with a 25. And after this wrap up to the run, look at this. Sidewalling it. Look how far over the front tire is. Hammers the race lane. Puts the nose in the air. It's a score of 30. Did what he had to do, and that will be officially the championship. He'll add a few more points tomorrow, but he will claim the hardware on the 2024 Monster Masters Championship Series. We're not done here. As I said, from the state line, we'll be back with more tomorrow. We will see you then.
This Back Channel Productions presentation has been brought to you by Gemini Associates. Whether you live upstairs, downstairs, or anywhere in general, we are here to serve.
Nick sucks.